Hello, everybody. Oh wait, I have to reduce my volume. Yes, since we don't have our secretary this evening, I would appreciate that. All right, so we're going to call this meeting to order at 6:36. We're coming to you live from the District 15 office at 131 Livingston Street. I would just ask that anybody in the audience please sign the attendance sheet that's on the table. I will drop a link in the chat so that everybody on the Zoom can also sign in. And unfortunately, we do not have interpreters tonight. I apologize for that. There was a miscommunication and they could not be here. So we assure you we will have interpretation at the calendar meeting at the end of the month, and I sincerely apologize for that. So I'm gonna call the roll unless you want to do it. Okay.
Antonia,
I am here.
I am here. Vanessa, she's on her way, right?
She said she would be, but we'll just
Hans,
wait.
Lauren, here. Jonathan,
Here.
Okay. Great. We do not, unfortunately, have quorum, so unless some members arrive later, we will not be able to vote at this meeting. I apologize. I don't think I have to read the parliamentarian protocol, because if we can't vote on anything, we can't take public comments either. So I guess if we feel the need to have public comments, I guess at that point we could.
We do have public comment for the presentation of Office of Food.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, so we'll have the parliamentary.
Lobbying for myself.
Okay, you're on camera. You're on camera.
Okay. Tonight's business meeting is in person and will include a public comment period. We will take both remote and in-person comments to gather additional feedback from our families and school community members. You may leave your camera on, or for your own privacy, if you prefer, you may use audio only during the comment period and throughout the meeting. Rules of engagement. When you comment, please comment on the topic. Respect the privacy of others, and please do not include names of children or staff. Guests who make inappropriate comments will be removed from the meeting. During the public comment period, those attending virtually may raise their hand to comment or indicate in the chat that they would like to speak. Those called upon will be unmuted. If you are attending in person, you must sign the guest attendance sheet and indicate whether you would like to comment. Speakers will be called on one at a time and will be allowed 1 minute each for comment. We will hear as many speakers as the time allows. It is possible that not every comment or question will be given time, so the best way to get your question answered is always to write to the CEC at cec15@schools.nyc.gov. CEC members will also be given a comment period. Members will be called upon and are each permitted 1 2-minute comment or question. If members do not have a comment, they may cede their time to the chair.
Great, thank you. Okay. All right, so we can't vote on minutes, so we'll just go on to some updates. I have a few updates to give you. There is an event tomorrow, February 7th from 8:30 to 10. It's a Nixa sign up event. You know, the Nixa account is the account that it allows you to receive your updates via text message from the DOE. It allows you to vote for CEC members. It allows you to link to your students' accounts. So it's a very important thing for families to have. And that event, I just put it in the chat. It will be at PS 516 tomorrow from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then on Friday, February 9th, Council Member Hanif's office is holding a 3K day of action. As you know, 3K is facing a lot of challenges, but there are a lot of families who need affordable, high quality childcare. And so Council Member Hanif is trying to bring awareness to the 3K programs and to where the slots that are available. And so her office has selected certain high traffic areas in our district to hand out information in English, Bangla, and Spanish to direct constituents to how to access 3K services. And she's asking if any members or members of the public are interested in canvassing for 3K on Friday, and they can contact M. Perez at council.nyc.gov. So I'll put that in the chat. Give me a second, everybody. Oh, and then Assembly Member Simon has shared an invitation to her 9th annual Dyslexia Awareness Day, which is Thursday, March 14th in Albany at 10 a.m. So if folks wanted to march up to Albany, they could RSVP through this Eventbrite link that I'm going to put in the chat as well. Oh gosh, maybe that link didn't quite make it. Hold on a second. You put the link in? Okay, great. All right. All right. And we received a response letter from the DOE to one of our resolutions. We had 2 resolutions regarding McKinney-Vento. And the first of those resolutions, we got a response, and I'll read the response to you. Thank you for sharing your resolution concerning the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act. I can assure you that New York City Public Schools is committed to providing a high quality education to all students, especially students who have a range of diverse needs and who are dealing with housing insecurity. We recognize that these are challenging times across the city and that the ongoing humanitarian crisis requires adaptive leadership, compassion, and most of all, innovative decision-making. At NYCPS, we take our legal obligations under McKinney-Vento very seriously. Chancellor's Reg A780 outlines our commitment to safeguarding the educational rights of students and families in temporary housing and provides clear guidance to districts and schools for how to best meet the needs of this population in accordance with legal requirements. We are always striving to improve our systems and processes. We echo your calls for additional federal, state, and local funding to support students in temporary housing across the system, particularly in light of the impending loss of COVID-related federal stimulus funding at the end of this fiscal year. Our students and families are always our first priority, and we are committed to maintaining high levels of support for our most vulnerable students, as reflected in our Fair Student Funding Formula, which allocates more funding to schools supporting students in temporary housing and other high-needs student populations. Under federal and state law and Chancellor's Regulation A780, students in temporary housing have the same rights as their permanently housed peers to attend schools for which they meet eligibility requirements, provided there are available seats. While the state regulation does not contemplate that a student can enroll in any school within the community school district in which they are temporarily residing, we are committed to ensuring that students in temporary housing and their families know their rights and their school options. Our staff have been trained in these governing rules and regulations and are available to help families navigate housing, enrollment, transportation, and related educational issues, family engagement sessions, as well as resources and materials to ensure families have the information they need on a variety of education topics are provided throughout the year. In closing, we share and value your commitment to finding ways to better meet the needs of our students and families in temporary housing. This administration has continually supported efforts to improve our service delivery model, and we will continue to be flexible to meet the changing conditions in the field in accordance with our legal requirements. Your leadership and support for District 15 is deeply appreciated. Please feel free to contact me should you have additional questions or concerns. Sincerely, Danica Rux, Deputy Chancellor of School Leadership. So I'll just add that while the state does not contemplate that a student can enroll within any school in any community school district in District 15 because of the rezoning that we did a few years ago, students in certain priority groups can attend or receive a priority to go to the 5 schools that were rezoned, which are 15, 29, 58, 261, 38, and 32, or that was seven schools. So students in temporary housing were one of the priority groups. And so they could attend or try to attend one of those schools. They would receive priority to attend any of those schools. So families should know that that is a venue for them. And then I need to ask the council if we can change the date of one of our meetings in June. I have a personal conflict, and I will not be here on June 11th to conduct the calendar business meeting. And so I'm asking you all, I sent you all an email asking you for your input on either June 18th or June 25th. I noted in the email that June 17th was a closure, a day that the schools were closed for Eid, and then June 19th is Juneteenth. So June 18th is sort of wedged in between those days, and I have a feeling a lot of people might just take a 5-day weekend and not be around, but we could do 18th. My preference would be to do June 25th. Do you guys have any feedback on that? 25th is
It's the
perfect.
last school night of the year.
It is the last school night of the year. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we will change that date to the 25th. And I have to announce that Hans has been appointed to the legislative committee. Hans has been out there sort of working on traffic related issues, and he sort of expressed an interest in possibly going to Albany to advocate for some things. So I was like, you know what? You should have the legislative committee. So we can talk more about what that means offline and
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very excited.
okay, great. All right, and I'm gonna turn it over to Meredith Keeley for who's here from the Office of Food and Nutrition Services, and she's gonna have a seat over here. There's been a lot of controversy in the press over menu-related things. So,
Well, I get to sit in the big chair.
they're all the same size.
Okay, thank you, and good evening, respected CEC, parents, community constituents. Thank you for this honorable invite, and I'm pleased to be with you all here tonight and talking soup with everybody. So yes, you heard the press, maybe you read the chalk beat articles. So I can talk to you about February's menu, and it's not as bad as it seems. So if we compare it to January's menu, firstly, it's been reduced to one choice, from two choices to one choice. So from a student's perspective, it's hard to make up one's little mind, and we notice that with milk. If you have 1% milk and skim milk and it's a blue container and a green container, they'll stand there and they ponder over the two containers of milk. So, when we need to move the line through and leave students time to eat and go outside for recess, it will really help the throughput of the line to have one choice. And so that's what this menu is now. It's one choice. It's the evolution of school food. It's never, it's nothing new. It's recalibrating old ideas. We used to have one choice in the past, and then we evolved to two, and now we're back at one. Okay, so that's the first change. The second change is that the cold choices, those are the alternative offerings, they've been modified. So in the past, we had some, in addition to the cheese sandwich and the peanut butter and jelly sandwich or sun butter sandwich, we would offer tuna sandwiches and vegetarian wraps, hummus and crackers, right? So those are going to be trimmed down. So it will just be peanut butter and jelly, cheese, and hummus and crackers. So that's where you're going to see some of the modifications. The CEE sites, those are the cafeteria enhancements. Those are the food courts with the nice merchandisers. If you've been to the mall and you see the fancy food courts, some cafeterias have gotten those makeovers. We have 3 of them in our district right now. We have Brooklyn School of the Arts, 136, and 136 Brooklyn School of the Arts and John Jay campus. 88 is coming on board March 18th. So some of those shelves may be closed. We're still going to have it, but not in abundance like before. Also, PCM, the paper cleaning and miscellaneous, that packaging is expensive. So the black containers will be changed for alternate paper products. We may use paper boats, we may use the senior citizen metal pans, but we're going to get away from the black containers. Okay, ticking off the list. What's going to remain is the salad bar, the water jet, the meatless Monday, the plant-powered Friday, and the plastic-free lunch day. Plastic-free happens one time per month. The more costly items like chicken on the bone and the bean burritos, for the meantime, like in February, we're going to substitute those items with less costly items. So we asked the managers for this month, and it's a short month because President Week falls within that month and the students aren't in attendance, to close out their bills, their invoices, and submit their meal claims quickly so that the metrics can be run and tallied and compared, and they can see, using less costly items, how we fared. Are we in the black or red? And, so it's a temporary modification, and, maybe we can bring these items back more quickly, and then we can let the program drive the numbers instead of the numbers drive the program. But we'll see, but we have to start somewhere because, $547 billion was cut from the DOE, not all from OF&S, but a fair amount was cut from OF&S. So, we, like you and everyone else, has to, trim. So that's where we're going to begin, right there. But beyond the menu, there is so many other things going on. And when we talk about the evolution of school food, I just want to, talk about some other things. Every item that winds up on the menu has been student taste tested and student approved. So on February, it's this month, February 8th, PS 15 is taking a field trip to Long Island City, and they will be up there for 4 hours taste testing some new items. So Julie Kavanaugh and her group are going up and doing that. So the taste testing is still happening. They work in conjunction with the menu management department and our supply chain management department. We have a shared table in every cafeteria. Students that cannot finish everything that's on their plate, and if it's perfectly good food that hasn't been finished, it's untouched, it's still in a wrapper, whole food, it can be placed on a shared table. Students who are still hungry can take food off the shared table and have it themselves, right? So before it goes in the garbage, I always say it's better to wind up in a kid's stomach rather than the garbage, right? Allergy awareness. We can't guarantee nut-free, allergy-free, milk-free environments, but we can work on a dietary plan for students with allergies. So anybody who needs a celiac student, for example, would visit the nurse with the 504 or IEP, then speak with the school food service manager, and in conjunction with the principal, we have a registered dietitian and the manager get on a call, work out a plan, and that child will receive a special lunch. We know what time the kid comes through, and we would have a meal for that student for any type of health condition that, that we also offer soy milk, lactose-free milk, and et cetera. Okay, we have over on that table over there a list of prohibited ingredients that we don't use: tropical oils, artificial sweetener, MSG, a whole list of prohibited ingredients. We took deli meat recently off the menu. We haven't used pork in many, many years, and we took juice off the menu as well. Okay. Something new that we started is working with, as part of our partnership with Wellness in the School, chefs in the school developed. So we have 60 chefs who are visiting 600 school kitchens this year, 600 school kitchens next year. So all 1,200 school kitchens will be visited in 2 years. And they're working with the cooks and with recipes and menu development, and their focus is on culinary. And that's happening right now. We have a cook ambassador, one per district. So our cook ambassador is in PS1. She provides standardization and training, coaching. She mentors our kitchen teams in the district. We have an expanded halal menu. We began halal recently in PS 131, and that launched this past Monday of this week. So it's funny, the para who was just hired, she worked for us for a brief time, and then she was hired by Principal Hatchimakalis to work as a para in her school, and she started a petition. She got over 130 signatures, and they voted halal in. So there were about 94 halal kitchens out of the 1,800 school kitchens throughout the city. So, and you don't even need a petition. Basically, a parent can contact the administrator and say, we're interested. So we offer on our contracted bid of over 2,000 items, about 230 of our items are halal items anyway. But if you want to be a certified halal kitchen, that's different. You know, we have an imam come and survey the kitchen, and everything's segregated. We have, you know, an oven that the food gets cooked in, a separate refrigerator, freezer, table, cutlery, steam table. So so that kitchen is just that. It's a certified halal kitchen. Next to go, because Principal Della Regione just wrote the email. So she will be scheduled for a visit at 2:30 and 2:30 Annex. They're next. Kosher meals are available upon request. Now that's different. We don't prepare that on site. They get brought in and they're wrapped individually, like you'd receive a meal on a plane, just like that. Okay, so that concludes. I was at the top of the agenda and you gave me brevity, and I have 5 minutes. So in the interest of time, I'll stop. I can go on and on, but I can't ask questions here live, but thank you for your time and attention.
He's gonna take
Yes.
some
So I'll
questions.
take
Oh,
some
sure.
questions.
Sure.
So we'll
The
start.
typing in the chat?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So if anybody on Zoom has a question, feel free to either raise your hand or put it into the chat. Yes, Janet.
Hello. Thank you for the presentation. My question.
Sorry,
One
Janet,
second. Let
we
me
need to-
make
we
sure
need
you
to-
have the word.
Okay. Oh,
Okay, Janet.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I see that there's a lot of thought put into ensuring that the kitchen preparation is separate for students that require halal meals. Is this the same consideration that's being taken for children with allergies to peanuts and tree nuts, milk, dairy products? Are their foods also being prepared in a separate area to reduce cross-contamination?
So we can offer, that's truly the principles. So as stated, we don't offer a nut-free environment, but some principals have made the call to deem their school peanut butter free. And we have a substitute for peanut butter, and that's sunflower butter. And the school food service manager writes me an email, and then I reach out to our supply chain director, and I ask for permission to enable that item in the food ordering system for that manager. And she then is locked out of the peanut butter and she orders sun butter so that the two are not confused. So she can't, because once you prepare the sandwich and wrap it, you virtually can't tell the difference between the two. So you can only choose between one or the other. So then that school can only use sunflower butter. So, it's the principal's call whether or not they serve chocolate milk or peanut butter. As far as individual items, we can't, each school, we just can't have a blanket rule. To answer your question, I have seen, and there's no two schools alike, there's no two, like there's no two kitchens alike, no 2 days alike. I've seen some schools have an allergy table where they put, students at one table. And those students sit at one table, but then there are certain students that can't be in a room where there's an open can of peanut butter. And so those students can't come in the cafeteria at all. So it all depends on the student and the type of allergy. And that's when there has to be a collaborative discussion, between the nurse and the administrator and the dietitian that's on our team.
Thank you.
And just to piggyback off of it, items that might contain about 8 to 9 major allergens, are they being labeled?
Yeah, so again, like that registered dietitian, after the meeting happens, it's a Teams meeting, she can upload the specs, the product specs, and she does to Teams for the parent to access. So depending on, the first question she asks is, does your child eat breakfast and lunch in school? If we're only talking about lunch, then breakfast is a moot point, and only lunch items then are listed. And she will give you the product specs for every single item that you're interested in, and after school products as well, the menu and the product specs.
Great. Are there any other questions or comments from individuals on Zoom? How about anybody in person here? No. Okay, so we'll
Very
move
thorough.
to CEC comments and questions. Let's start with Hans. Lauren? Antonio?
I have 3 questions, no more, no less.
Yeah. They both ceded to you, so
Okay,
that gives you
I'll
2
bring it
extra.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hearing feedback on a number of 3 things. Okay, taste testing. Who is participating in the taste testing? Are you having people who are taste testing who are special needs children, who have a lot of sensory issues? Then there's questions about like what protein, what is the predominant protein that's gonna replace the chicken? Should I just do it one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so let's just, who participates in the taste testing, and are we like engaging students who might have like be particularly fussy?
Okay, so the taste testing goes by division. We have 2 divisions, elementary, junior high, and then high school is on its own. So the point on that is Chantel Hewlett. So she reaches out to the district and she'll say, we need a middle school in your district. Who's interested? So we put some feelers out and we survey our district and we see, who volunteers. I think Stephen O'Brien recently, he is the liaison with our partners, and he spent some time at PS 15 with the plastic-free events that was going on there. And so he had heard that they expressed interest in taste testing. So he volunteered them for the next event. So that's how they were able to get on the bus. Now, it's 30 students, it's 1 classroom, and they need a chaperone. So once the school is selected, then the principal chooses the class and the person who's going to get on the bus. An invite is sent out, a chartered bus is brought to the school about 9:30 in the morning. It comes back to the school at 2 p.m. and they're out there all day, and they fill out evaluations, and the chefs prepare the food for the students. During the pandemic, it was happening also, but on site, rather than getting on the bus and being brought to Long Island City. Long Island City came to the school. So that was the change. That was a very good question. I mean, you stumped me after 24 years. Sensory issues, I honestly do not know. And I'm going to bring that to Chantel.
I've heard people say, oh, it's the kids who are in student government who get to go and do the taste testing, and they're probably the most,
Not necessarily.
no?
No,
Okay.
the principal picks the
Principal
class.
pick-
Yeah,
the principal might be picking the kids who might be easier to manage, and then you're not getting like a real cross-section of the student population,
right.
and what their tastes are like.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah, so something to look into. And then what is the predominant protein that is replacing chicken and pork in our school? Is it beef? Is it?
Right. So I left a whole stack of the February menu for everyone on the desk. So I like to say on the two bookends, on Monday and Friday, those are our meatless days, right? And I remember back in October 2017, Chancellor Farina and Mayor de Blasio went to PS1, and back then it was Brooklyn's first all-vegetarian school. That's where they made the meatless Monday conference, the announcement. And we've had meatless Monday ever since. And then under the Adams administration came plant-powered Friday. You can't call it vegan because milk is not vegan. Cheese is not vegan, and those are on the menu. So those are our meatless days. Now, with the February changes, we have another, if you look at Wednesday, right? Wednesday is another cheese day. It's the mozzarella stick, and it goes pizza, mozzarella stick, and then like a quesadilla, right? Three-week cyclic. So it's now become like another meatless on Wednesday. So your protein days are Tuesday, Thursday, your 2 T days. Okay, so hamburger comes up once a month, and that's been pretty consistent before the budget cuts, I guess, because of the red meat and the issue about, that. So Mayor Adams, when he was Brooklyn Borough President, he invited us to speak in his office, and we did. And he told the story of how he cured himself through healthy eating, and he was going blind in one eye, and he had very debilitating health issues due to his diet. And he invited everyone to join him on his journey toward good health. And it was through his own, personal, he, that now he sort of imposes this diet upon us because he wants the students to then teach the parents to eat better, because it's so important. He doesn't take any pills or medication, and he tells this story, and he has the support of the chancellor, and they have reworked the school menu, and so that is how it came to be.
So now it's 3 vegetarian days a week.
Yeah, and so, the deli meat went away because of the nitrates, and the hot dog went away because of, it was a choking issue. But it happened to have had the nitrates, but it wasn't due to the nitrates, it was a choking hazard, but deli meat was because of the nitrates. So if we could get turkey and roast the turkey and then slice it, maybe turkey will come back on the menu. But yeah, we're looking at the items from a health standpoint now. And the chicken that we had on the bone that we will get back, antibiotic-free, hormone-free, And it took a very long time to get a producer of the chicken that didn't inject fat and didn't inject hormones and didn't, so
Is that the same
free
with
range.
the hamburger?
The hamburger was on our Thursday menu, and that was like the New York Thursday, so it was locally sourced. And yes, that too came from our local, if you remember the posters and local Thursday and our milk and apples and hamburger and all of that was locally sourced and came,
So like hormone free.
yeah, it was a better quality. Yeah.
Here's my third question.
Okay, third question.
Third question. We are hearing complaints that the babies, the 3K, the pre-K, and the K.
Yeah.
They're not eating the vegetarian food because you're replacing the protein with spices.
Hmm.
And the spices are just not appropriate for young taste buds. So I guess not a question, it's just feedback. It's
Yes.
back to-
Yeah. We've worked so closely with Cynthia Lascano because she has the 2 pre-Ks on 25th and she has the pre-K on 3rd. And we've worked with Carla Lombardo, and we've worked with, we've had meetings. We brought our Bart Paluca, we've worked with them. We've had collaborative discussions. And so we do not have menu flexibility. In the past, we did, and we could change the menu, swap a red meat for red meat, a chicken for another chicken. We have to honor the menu, right? But if an alternate item is the cheese sandwich, we said, well, then what's the difference between a cold cheese sandwich and a grilled cheese sandwich? So that was one adjustment. And she said, yes, but you just don't want to keep giving them, grilled cheese sandwich, and then you're getting the pizza, and then you're getting the mozzarella stick, and then it's almost like they're eating holy cholesterol Batman, So what we did was we said, well, if it's like a flavor profile, then we can just, it is a from scratch item, just not put as many, calm down don't have such a heavy hand. So we brought that back to the chef at Sunset Park High School, because that's the feeder site that provides the meals to the receiver sites. And we said, rinse the kidney beans. And then after you rinse them, just go easy. They don't like all of, they don't like that. It's too spicy. It's for, it's too sophisticated a menu, and their young palates don't like that. And it doesn't look desirable. So we tried to find a workaround, and I haven't heard complaints of late. But now she does have a teacher. She's a dance teacher on 25th, and she's doing a professional development. The dance teacher is in a class where she observes lunch. So this is helpful. And she's bringing the feedback back to our team. And we found out something else that was interesting, that they were getting apple slices every day, and the apple slices are in a package, and her child has food allergies. And so when I got that feedback, I asked the person in charge, that we have one person that works there, and I said, why are you giving apple slices every day? You give a variety of fruit, so they get, a variety of vitamins and minerals, and well, they like it. I said, but they're getting menu fatigue or fruit fatigue, and they can like it to a point, and then to nauseum. So she was making her life easier. It's a packaged item, and she was giving it at breakfast and at lunch. With the other pre-K was giving a banana, giving a mandarin orange, and I said, now you see, you're giving an apple slice every day. So I said, they're not to get another apple slice for the rest of the year. And I told the cook, and I told the manager, and I told her, and I put her on notice, and they haven't gotten another apple slice. But it's helpful when you get the feedback. And I said, thank you for bringing that to my attention. And we can't forget why we're here. We're here for the children, and it's not you making your life easier, but how in good conscience can you give the same fruit every single day? That was very upsetting to hear. but we changed, and I said, next time, I'm thinking of a replacement at that site. So I think that was changed, and that's not going to happen anymore. But these are the things that we need to know. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
I was gonna ask about the protein replacement, and you mentioned something that the chicken on the bone is coming back. So presumably all of this was cut because of the budget. When is it coming back, and how are we looking at adjusting to?
Well, it just started. It just started February 1st. It just went into effect. So, they will see how, how it affects when we, it comes from, it's a directive from the mayor. The mayor cut the budget. So this is how much money we have for the meals, and for now, this is what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a guarantee. But
It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee, but it just started. I mean, it just rolled out. Yeah. February 1st.
just wondering about like the other sorts of protein that we can see in the future coming back.
Yes.
And for breakfast meals, we talked about the menu in the lunch context, but for breakfast, has anything been taken out? Nutrition-wise, how is that affecting or helping or harming the options that children have?
One muffin was removed, but but there are other muffins. So it was like a sweet potato oatmeal muffin, but there's other muffins. Very moderately, yeah. But with everything that we do have, the focus is and always will be, on the students, and the salad bar is very, we have the salad bar guide came out, and we're always improving the salad bar. And when you go into the cafeteria and you look at the line now, and you look at it from the customer's point of view, it is so very different than when you went to school. It's even now with the February cut, I can guarantee it's like nothing you've ever seen before. We've come a long way. Yeah.
I have a question. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I hear, like you say, probably here, they probably are not going to guarantee the food for the kids who have allergies, something like that.
I'm sorry,
Kids
hon?
who have allergies to the food. How are they going to be treated in this way, this moment? Like they're going to have their own refrigerator to have their own food.
Oh,
For
the kids with allergies?
Yeah.
Right, so there's a special dietary plan in place for the student with allergies. So depending on the type of allergy that the student has, if it's a celiac student, then we would have a special cutting board for that student, a special knife, so to prevent cross-contamination. We would ensure that, because it's a gluten allergy, and gluten is what makes wheat elastic, right? So it's wheat. So there can't be any wheat. And one person in the kitchen would be responsible for preparing that student's meal. And we know what time that student comes down, and the items that student can eat and can't eat. And that meal is at the ready for that student when that student comes down.
I had a great experience being part of the food co-op. So this usually part of the food co-op, before they hire a contractor or somebody who grows vegetables and fruits, they have like a great team to go and check the producers and make sure they don't have like chemicals, or they're putting some kind of weird stuff on the food before bring the food to the food co-op. Do you guys have somebody to go to your producers and make sure the fruit and vegetables are like, well, not 100%, I understand, but at least like not using their own chemicals and stuff like that, pesticides.
Yeah, our menu management department, they do go to the distributors and they check the warehouse. The dairy department, you know, each borough has its own dairy department. They go, they check that they're cleaning the milk crates. They should be hosed off. So they're all subject to inspection. Our office can go and check. Yeah, they can definitely check.
Is any possibility like any of our members can go one day with them and have a tour with them and they can look like, I mean, I don't know if it's possible. I would love to be volunteering.
I'll write that one down. That,
So much, I really appreciate
yeah,
it.
that I would have to find out, so.
And my last question, how many of the produce of food they give to the kids in the school are organic?
Organic produce.
Or did you, I mean, sorry.
I'm not sure if it's organic. I know the apple, because you said the apples before, it doesn't have wax coating. There's some, you know, specs that it has to fall under. One of them being it can't have wax coating.
Stuff like
Yeah.
bananas, the beans, the plantains, stuff like that, they're organic or they just,
I don't believe so.
no?
I
mean,
don't.
just want to know if they grow like organic products for the kids or not.
Right, right.
No, no, okay, thank you so much.
Can I ask another question? Or do you, like, you just got me thinking about also, like, do you work with, you know, you have like a local day, you said, could you do like a local day with like local farmers or work with farms to get sort of like seasonal fruits or whatever for the schools? So it's like, instead of going like
Yeah,
farm
yeah.
to distributor,
Mhm.
it just goes to farm to school, like it just, you cut out that middle.
Yeah, there are some grant programs, and George Edwards is the person who's point on that. It was called Garden to Cafe, and now it's Farm to Fork. He works with that. He's done a couple of the Green and Healthy Nights at 321. He works with the chefs. So, yeah, and he works in some of the schools. So he does Farm to Fork, previously Garden to Cafe. So any school that's interested in that.
In the schools contact?
Yeah, he has an at schools.gov, George Edwards.
And I have one question, and we have a final one from the chat, and I think, thank
Sure.
you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So my biggest concern is that so many New York City students rely on the school meals to eat. And I understand the initiatives by the previous administration and the current administration to infuse healthier meals and options into the rotation of what's going on. But my question is, and this is coming from like my daughter, every day we have to ask her, did you eat today? And the answer is almost always no. Because of the food. And other friends, like I know one of her good friends only eats tuna fish sandwiches every day, which now is not even an option. And so has there been any analysis of what food is actually being eaten and what is being left over, and with how many kids are actually consuming food daily, to determine whether these changes in meal options are actually working? Because if you actually look at the science of it, I understand Mayor Adams's story of how he cured himself, but it's about, if you really look into nutrition, it's also about just quality ingredients. So the question of, rather than having a vegan Friday or vegan with dairy Friday, and a meatless Monday, and now another, meatless option on Wednesdays, of how can we take the money that we have and use better ingredients to produce what we are, whether it's organic or closer to organic ingredients, to be making the food that we're making. Because it's one thing to have food options that look great when you look at it, but if kids aren't actually eating anything, then it doesn't matter. It's better to have kids eat something that may not be great for them than to starve. And so what I would really advocate for is real research and analysis of consumption, to to better drive decisions that are being made in terms of options rather than anecdotes of one or two people of this is how something changed my life.
So would that be plate waste
Could be.
consumption?
I mean, I think I don't, as as somebody who has experience with doing research, it would be
Yeah.
having a team to create some type of mechanism to track, um, students, what is being put on their plates, what is being consumed, who is going into the lunchroom and they're not eating anything. I mean, it would be
Right.
difficult, and you need to do samples, cross-section of sample sizes. You can't do every student.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be impossible. But, and, there are kids that bring, their own food in, but, I hear so many stories of kids that just don't eat the food because they think it's disgusting, or they don't like the options. Or great, we've got the salad bar, but I don't like any of the options there. Or, or we keep getting the same food. Or there are no, now we're eliminating options, which I get because you have to find ways to cut costs. But how are those choices being made, and why are we prioritizing instituting this vegan Friday, which may have certain costs, versus eliminating options of what kids may actually be eating?
Yeah.
So I don't have all of those answers, but I think those are the questions that need to be answered, and investing in resources to find those answers, I think, is worthwhile to make sure that our students are fed.
So we're under the governance of USDA, right? And offer versus serve. So in order for us to get reimbursement, right, we have to offer 5 items, and the students need to take 3 of them. And then they're walking away maybe with extra items that they don't want in order to take what they do want. And so where does it wind up? In the garbage. So to prevent food from winding up in the garbage, hence the share table. Best way to get rid of food's in a kid's stomach, not the garbage can. So, and that's where, people are looking at the plate waste, well, I have to take it because, the USDA doesn't want to get shortchanged and, give the kid what they're entitled to because we're paying for it, So there's that component of it. Yeah, that's one thing. I know you said a lot, and what you're saying is true. I mean, metrics is everything. It's very telling. But there's also, if you go on our web page, which has been reconstructed, there's an SF comments section, and that's where you can, speak your piece, because you made a good point. And we also have surveys out. We had a student survey and a principal survey. And that they're going to the end of now. We had a fall survey and a spring survey, and they're live until June. And the students should go on, and they should also, answer those questions, and that they tally those. So I sent them out to all the principals too, and I said, final push before all the city responses get tallied. So hopefully they took advantage. Interestingly, they only collected 238. And I would say most of them probably came from District 15 because I kept sending them and sending them. Like when we're gonna do a training, they keep sending the Survey Monkey back out to us, because if they time it right, middle of the day, morning, night, oh yeah, I forgot about it. Here it is again, we'll do it. That's kind of what I did. Probably more than anybody.
Thank you. And there's one last question on the chat, and then
Sure.
if you are willing to take
Sure.
more. So it was somebody who thanked Hans for his question about the cross-contamination and allergies, and just the person said that they're grateful for the halal kitchens and the respect provided in that aspect, but students with food allergies are protected under the ADA, and I would love to know if there is more explicit guidelines on how the DOE as a whole takes into consideration the 9 major allergens: food preparation, and storage and whatnot. And then the last part was making it principal and admin dependent doesn't really sit well with me.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm gonna have a meeting with community food advocates. So it's an institution actually advocated for including food in the schools, like make it organic and healthy and enjoyable for the students. So if anybody want to go to the meeting tomorrow, let me know. I'll send you the soon.
Report on it for us at the next
All right,
meeting.
great.
To answer the question, it's on a case-by-case basis. So for each individual student that has an allergy, it's on a case-by-case, and then a specific plan, dietary plan is managed for that student. And I brought up the case about the sliced apples because, we want to give every single student the very best meal possible. And that's why I brought that story up. All right, thank you,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.
Thank you so much. It's
Okay.
always so interesting. I feel like everybody could talk about food for forever. All right, we have a special guest here from New York Sunworks, Madeline Turner. Here you go. Have a seat right over here. Thanks so much. Have a seat. All right. Perfect. All right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you to the CEC, of course, for the opportunity to speak today, to join you all, and to join everyone who's on Zoom today. My name is Madeline Turner. I'm the Program Development Manager with New York Sunworks. We are a nonprofit organization that works with New York City public schools to build hydroponic science labs in schools with the goal of bringing hands-on science, sustainability, and climate education to students and supporting the next generation of environmental innovators in New York City. So we do this by transforming New York City classrooms into a hydroponic science lab. And of course, with hydroponics, you're growing food using water and nutrients rather than soil. You're able to grow food year-round in the classroom. So it's giving the students the opportunity to learn critical sustainability science and then also grow hundreds of pounds of produce every year right in their classroom. So our program, of course, not just provides the hands-on science and sustainability education through the technology that we provide, but we also provide robust support to make sure that it's a long-term sustainable program. So that looks like our team, of course, installing the equipment to build the lab, but also K through 12 standards aligned curriculum that all teachers have access to, in-person technical training for the teacher and weekly maintenance support from our team, and curriculum training with our team of teachers on staff for teachers so they know exactly how to incorporate the curriculum into their current science offerings. So most of our partner schools labs have been built using capital funding through the city budget, and we're working to build a pipeline of schools so that students are able to learn with hydroponic technology from K to 12 and even up into higher education. So we're currently partnered with 7 wonderful schools in District 15. So that includes PS 15, whose lab opened in 2019, PS 118 also opened in 2019, PS 130 opened in 2022, PS 58 opened in 2021, and then just last month at Red Hook Neighborhood School. We also have funding secured to build 2 more labs, one at the School of Creativity and Innovation and the other at MS 136. So we're excited to be able to bring our program to more schools in Brooklyn. We're supporting schools who are interested in our program in applying for FY25 capital funding through their borough president and city council member. Of course, anyone who's interested in the program, we are more than happy to support with that application, provide more information. I've given you all a handout here. I've left some more info on the table. But yeah, thank you, of course, again for having me and learning about the program.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so now we can, thank you so much, Madeline, for joining us, and thank you, Meredith. We'll just sort of move on to our SCA capital plan, the never-ending SCA capital plan work. So Jonathan had some conversations again this week with the Division of School Facilities. And you and Carmine sort of worked through that list again. I'm going to put the link to that list in the chat. Whoopsie, I don't want to do that. Okay. Let me put it in the chat for everybody.
Do you want me to put the link in?
I did it. I got it. You guys went through this list again. I looked at it and I highlighted everything in red that Carmine said would be would apply for SCA capital, to the SCA capital plan. And it's not that many things. So how should we, there's a couple things I actually want to report on, that, because you had the conversation with Carmine. I had a conversation with Tamar, and I learned a couple of things about the ADA compliance issues. We don't have to prioritize them in the top 5 because the DOE has a separate agency that has to look at those no matter what. So we can put them in our top 5 if we want to, but those are always going to be prioritized.
Okay.
And that was what a member of the audience was trying to share with us at the last meeting that we didn't quite grasp.
Right. Okay.
I also got the email. I shared the email with you guys from Tamar, and she went through that preliminary list of 10 that we sort of came up with at the last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And she said the following. She said, with response to 130, that it would not, she said, it seems to be focused on changing fixtures, which may not be an SCA capital plan project. And she would recommend speaking to Patrice Miano, the Deputy Director of Facilities, who was at the meeting last week. Then she said, with regard to the playground equipment, the ADA compliant playground equipment at 958, she said that by regulation, there cannot be any additional capital work done on a brand new building for 5 years. So that building was just built. It seems kind of crazy to me that they can't get, yeah, Hans. Which part? What I just said?
Yeah, was it 4 years?
Okay, so by regulation, there cannot be any additional capital work done on a brand new building for 5 years. Since the school opened in 2022, it would be a few years before any capital work could be done in the playground. She could probably go secure funding through another source. Reso A would probably be a better option for her at this point. She felt that the electrical upgrade at 51, that Nancy Cruz really wanted that electrical upgrade at 51.
Mm-hmm.
Tamar said it's a bit vague. What did Carmine say about that one? Did he notate it? Yes, he did. He said Reso A, oh, but he said also SCA Capital. I guess because he wasn't sure how big, all right, so I'll highlight that in red as well.
And it
All right.
does say here, Nancy Cruz said that they needed
The entire building.
the entire building because they didn't have AC. They don't have AC in the whatever, in the gym. But
And Tamar said there was an electrical upgrade a few years ago for an air conditioning initiative. So I don't
yeah.
I
And they
don't
have a
know.
They have a new principal, right?
Yeah, they do have a new principal. With the accessibility priorities, she just reiterated what I just said with regards to accessibility priorities.
Mhm.
And then with regards to 372, which is the children's school, which is the District 75 school that was impacted greatly by the Hurricane Ophelia or Storm Ophelia.
Mhm.
There is a Reso A funded renovation project in construction now in the interior courtyard playground, which will very likely improve the drainage. There is also a project in design for the larger playground, which will likely do the same to improve the drainage there too. In addition, the city council member has funded a FY24 Reso A project to renovate bathrooms. So. I'm honestly inclined to go with what Carmine just identified as the most likely bets for an SCA capital plan project. And then narrow those down to 5. I'm inclined to vote for the elevator because we have people who significantly want that elevator. I'm inclined to support the electrical upgrade at 51. And you guys tell me what you.
Is the elevator different than ADA?
No, I mean, well, yeah, you could have an ADA compliant entrance. Yes, it is different.
I think if they did
They would
they
need both.
did the ADA, we were talking about that. If they did the elevator, they would have to do ADA entrance because you'd have to be able to get to the elevator. They have to like get down to get to the elevator. It's something they'd have to be something
You'd have to
weird
have
because
both.
there's only stairs at this point. So it'd have to be a part of that. And we were talking about how when 321 had their elevator put in, there was a ramp put in, and there was a ramp that went through the playground, but they put another ramp at the front of the school, and they redid that sort of front area.
So we, what do you guys think? Do you want to all give me like your priorities and I'll sort of
Well, I think that
write them down and.
the 136.
We got 136.
Okay. The boiler for out of the play area.
The boiler for the 372.
Yes.
Did he say that boiler was a?
It's listed in red.
It's listed red. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Anybody
else?
Why they put bathrooms in 130?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I. even
And the
though tomorrow,
bathrooms,
yeah.
great. Okay, 130 bathrooms.
And then this 154 that needs an elevator, do they need like an ADA?
They would need an ADA. They would have to be able to get to the.
Yeah.
You want to do that? The elevator at 154? I don't.
Why not?
Why not do both the elevators? Okay. Okay, this is, okay, so we've got 5. Does anybody else want to?
Where was the other elevator?
154.
Windsor Terrace.
Yeah. And then, no, what was the first one?
136,
Oh,
do we?
136.
So that is 5. Does anybody object to any one of those and want to replace it with a different one, or? Okay, so what I'm gonna propose is that I'm gonna move these little, I'm gonna move these down.
Can I just
Yeah,
bring
go
up 447?
447, what's going on at 447? Which one?
The space at 447 is a jail.
The space of 447 is a jail.
They have no space. They have
Just
no
the build-
outdoor space.
Just the building,
It doesn't work
it doesn't work.
properly for
So
students.
that's I think a bigger conversation than SCA capital plan. That building was never built to house a school.
Right.
And it was built to distribute newspapers in the 1950s or something.
Which
like
building is this? 447?
447.
Oh,
It's a
Oh, really?
maze. It's a maze.
So would that not fall into SCA to construct something on the roof so that there's outdoor
Oh,
area?
outdoor roof. Here's the problem with roof and playgrounds. The building itself always has to be constructed specifically for rooftop activity. Very rarely can you just put it up there after the fact, is what I've been told.
Is there any way to assess whether this building will be adequate for that?
Not in time to.
No, I get it, but like, it's something that has been on the list for a long time.
Mm-hmm,
It's been an issue for a long time.
mm-hmm.
It continues to be a problem, so at the very least, to start a process of assessing whether this is a possibility.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, all of this is going,
Right.
right? It's just a question of whether it's one of the top 5. He also said Carmine didn't flag that he flagged that as space planning accessibility, whatever that means. Right? Or no, wait, no, sorry, wait a minute, hold on, let me click it. He said it was Reservoir. Like a grant from the. My opinion is that space has bigger problems than just throwing a.
Right.
People have said to me, they need to rethink like that, the usage of that building.
oh, that there's too many people in that building?
That it's just not like appropriate to house a school.
I see.
Yeah, several schools. They had their music room flooded in the basement during one of those big storms last year. Like, well, you had your child there.
I think there's a lot of schools that had some flooding that didn't get attention. Like the Bishop Ford had like
Mhm.
water coming in down the hall.
Yeah, all right, so I'm just gonna do some record keeping right now so that I can
Who has
create this new
So
list.
There's 136, Janet had pointed out in the chat, and I noticed it too, that 136 doesn't say elevator.
What does it say? Oh, shoot, I got
They
the wrong
changed
one.
it to, they said, it did say elevator, but they changed it to,
And main entrance reno. Why does it, where is the
school
elevator?
safety, create more modern, spacious.
That's what I
That's a
couldn't find
different
elevator.
one.
Wait, 136.
Where is
I don't even
it?
see the elevator on here.
I don't see it either.
It
Was
is
it-
on the old
It
list.
was on the other list.
I don't know what,
why it's not on
why it's
here.
not there.
All right. I'm gonna move it.
But we can add it.
I'm gonna add it.
Yeah,
Because maybe, I think what happened was when I created the new list to send to Carmine, that's what happened.
it just got
I
left off.
didn't include the preliminary priorities
Oh,
because those were copied and pasted and just put again, and I
Mhm.
wanted him to just evaluate all of them. But somehow the 136 elevator and compliance, I think, was moved without, it was
It was-
cut and not copied.
okay. Okay, 372.
Thank you, Janet.
Where is 372's boiler? Okay, so those were not, okay, let me move back 372 because that came off the old list.
Who's the liaison for K 721?
I am.
That, they can, that, any of the District 75, they can also go through District 75.
Yes.
Were
I
there
don't
others that didn't make
see.
it on when I did that.
I think all of those, all of our top 10 from the previous iteration of this didn't make it onto that
They
list.
were on there.
I'm not seeing,
Well, I
I'm not
saw
seeing
all of them.
130's is 130's
130's bathrooms
bathrooms
are on
are on here?
Yeah. I think that was the only one that didn't make it. 130's bathrooms in red.
It is?
Line
Why?
39.
Line 39. No, it's,
You're looking at a different one. I
I'm
think.
looking at a different one.
Wait, you said that it's on line 39? That's 107.
What?
You're looking at something.
No, 39 is not the line, 39 is the number on the side.
Oh,
39
Oh,
on the
which row?
is
The Excel row.
The Excel row,
not
Excel row
Yeah.
39. Okay, here we go. Thank you.
39.
Excel row.
Oh, oh, here. Oh, gotcha.
Sorry.
Okay,
Other numbers.
numbers.
Three numbers.
Okay, so we've got 130 and 154.
12, 130.
Say that again.
Row 39, which is also 12, which is also 130.
Bye,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much.
Okay, so let me just, all right, I think I've got them all. So I'm in Jonathan's document. I put in, all in red at the bottom, the electrical upgrade for 51, the ADA compliant entrance and elevator at 136, the new boiler at Children's School 372, 130's third and fifth floor bathrooms, and the elevator at 154. So then we will bring these back to the council at the end of the month for our calendar meeting. And hopefully we can just have a quick vote on these 5 and be done. I do have to submit all this to city council, our city council members before the 22nd. Let me make a note for myself.
I have one other request. So
Okay.
Carmine, and I was so thankful to him for going through resident and looking at each one. And
Hmm.
a lot of it was in our back and forth was like the principals of each school now need to go and talk to their liaisons, and whether it's ResOA or DSF or DDF, which I wasn't really familiar with. But my question is, can we send something out to all the principals with this list
Yeah,
and just say, we had DSF look at this and say what kind of funding you should try to get for each of your projects?
yeah, that would, yes,
Um,
great.
And that way it's
Awesome.
just in their hands, and I feel
Yeah.
like it's okay to share this.
Yeah, no,
document
it's,
with
this is
everybody?
public. Everybody, it's public. It's totally
Um,
public.
So is
Yeah.
that something?
Yes,
that can be
I'll,
done?
I will do it.
Okay.
I will do it.
Just
Unless
not-
somebody else wants to, no, I'll do it because if
I
I'm
can
gonna.
help you do it.
No, Shanice can, I mean, Shanice has all the emails for all the principals, and or me or Shanice or somebody. All right, so then I made a note to self to do that.
And Janet was asking in the chat.
Yeah.
was- There weren't many Sunset Park schools listed on here.
Mm.
I don't know who liaisons
Mhm.
are, but is there a way to make sure that maybe when we send out that, like, hey, if you were
If
not
you're not on the
included,
list.
like,
Mhm.
if you missed this somehow, like, send us whatever. And we
Mhm.
can get
Well,
feedback.
I always send out a form to all the principals
Right.
in the entire
Yeah, that's
district
what I told her.
back in the fall for them to submit things. So they all get notified even without the liaison reaching out to them. So, yeah,
Yeah, this is true.
okay. All right, so I think we can move on from that, from SCA. Let me look at my agenda here. All right, so we will have to vote. Vote is tabled until February, what is it, the 27th or something like that? Okay, now we are moving on to an update from the Bylaws Committee. I will turn
Turn on my camera.
turn on your camera.
My camera.
What's wrong?
I printed them out, but never.
Oh,
Antonio, could you look into this? Is
yeah,
that a
yeah,
charger?
yeah, yeah. No, it's not a charger. It's an adapter, but
Oh.
there's, we have this over here.
I'm just gonna come over here to go plug in.
Yeah. All right, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. Shanice is printing out the changes that we made to the bylaws, suggested. A lot of that were formatting changes to have more clarity when we're reading the bylaws on what section we're trying to speak about. For now. Everything's gonna be marked with the exact change, but just to go over it really quickly, at the beginning, I don't know if you guys want to open the bylaws itself.
Should I put it on? I'll share my screen. I'll share my screen.
Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So. I'm gonna start from the first section, really quickly. Obviously, the table of contents reflects what the body of the bylaw says. We eliminated a section, what is now as was eliminated, so I don't know if you guys-
Title 10, right?
Section 1. Sub D. Okay, previously in our bylaws, if you look at the original one, there was a paragraph talking about the president will retain a printed copy of the transfer of records guidebook until the end of their term as president, at which time the book will be returned to the AA. Apparently, that was something that we, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Are you doing the
I was in
table of contents
section-
first or no?
No, I'm not gonna go through the table of contents
Okay,
right now,
okay.
because I feel like it's self-explanatory and it
Okay.
goes through everything that
Okay.
we already will revise. Section 1 stays the same. The only thing is we are taking the AKA CEC 15. Simply put in CEC 15. Section 2, authority of the council is the same. Article 2, again, is just a reorganization of the sections and subsections. Nothing other than that.
Oh,
Section
I
3, duties of the officers. The president had an obligation to retain some copies of records that included meeting minutes, attendance records, things that were passed by CCs, and according to the bylaws, there needs to be an actual binder printed out and kept. Since we are operating in a more digital manner, those records are still the obligation of the president to keep and maintain, but with the assistance of the AA, and to pass it on to the next president. So we reframe this language under section G, 3.1G. To be quick, the president shall ensure the proper organization and transfer of records to an incoming president. Records include, but are not limited to, meeting agendas, approved minutes, resolutions, budget documents, digital login information, and passwords associated with CC 15. What else? There was another section in which the administrative assistant and the president shall inform all other council members promptly of any official notices and matters pertaining to the council business. That is repetitive from a section below, so that's eliminated. Co-presidents, we simply change the language to make it more inclusive from him or her to them. What else? And that goes throughout the document, anything that was him or is changed to them. Section 3.5, we expanded the duties of the parliamentarian to include what the goals actually are. This is not something that is in the template that FACE gives us, but it's something that the council has implemented itself. The parliamentarian is actually an officer of CEC 15 as opposed to any other CEC. And you can see subsection 3.5A, the parliamentarian shall fulfill the following goals: protect the right of individuals, minorities, the majority, absentees, and all the CEC members as a single body, dispose of issues in a quick and orderly fashion, enable the majority to make official determinations, prevent community board members from discussing more than one motion at a time. Everything else remains the same. Everything else remains the same up to Article 3, Section 1, in which we require, or under the current rules, would require a public notice from CEC members of 72 hours prior to meetings to be made.
Wait a
Oh,
minute.
okay,
Hold on.
yes,
Wait,
this is not, I'm
wait a
sorry,
minute.
my bad, this should not have.
No. You
This was
have
72.
you have to have 72
Yeah.
hours. So this is not going to be changed.
That's not the one that I meant to change.
It was about abscesses.
It was
right?
about
Yeah.
abscesses, not.
Wait, hold on a second. I can't.
It was the
Okay,
the
you-
abscesses section.
Mhm. So forget about that.
This is going to stay 72 hours.
Yes.
I'm going to leave it in the document as 72 hours.
And any reference to the laws are simply moved as a footnote to help with the clarity of the reading. So the parentheses of New York State Public Officers Law, Article 7, Section 100, 110. It's just moved to bottom of the page.
So, are we in section 2, member attendance? Is that where we're at?
Correct.
Okay.
So it is changed, just the language, just to make it more concise. It's the same sentence in essence. CC members shall be physically present as opposed to, it is the responsibility of each council member to attend at the scheduled calendar meeting, work with business meetings, unless such member is unable to be physically present at one. And so this is where we start introducing, and one of the reasons why I reconcile the language is to introduce the hybrid meeting portion that we need to implement in the bylaws as per the resolution that we passed. So I guess this is something we just need to go through painfully. CC members shall be physically present at the scheduled calendar meeting and working or business meetings during the meetings, unless such member is unable to be physically present at one of the designated public meeting locations due to extraordinary circumstances. Then we go on to define. For the purposes of these procedures, the term extraordinary circumstances includes disability, illness, caregiving responsibilities, or any other significant or unexpected factor or event that precludes the member's physical attendance at such meeting. And then we go into what the hybrid meeting resolution that we passed entail. Do we need to read it since it's part of the resolution, or?
I'll ask the members if they feel like, I mean, everybody should, we're not voting on this right now. This is like, everyone should take this home and sit with it and,
Word for word.
From the
From the resolution.
resolution.
It is rephrased from the resolution. Each subsection of the resolution is reframed to adjust the language of the bylaws, but yeah. Should I read it? Sure not. Okay,
I
this
guess
is a
not.
public document, so
Yeah.
everybody's seeing it.
yep.
Okay. Absences, that's where the 24 hours change came in, as opposed to 72 hours. Letting the council know that you are going to be absent. We tend to do it, sometimes things happen at the last minute, we tend to do it within 24 hours most of the time, so it's just reflecting.
Yeah,
our practice.
nobody was observing the 72-hour notice, and it's not mandated by like any law or anything, so.
Got my section 3, annual meetings, stays the same. Section 4 stays the same, section 5 stays the same.
Wait, let's go back to absences.
Yeah,
I think you should maybe read through it a little bit, like, so section M, that's new.
oh, okay.
And it's just M1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Notwithstanding the provision of Article 5, Section 3.2, such resolution shall be voted upon at the same meeting without public comment therein.
That's the
Thereon.
same.
Oh, that's the same, you just moved it over and made it a
Yeah.
subheading? Okay.
So
After the third unexcused absence, that's always been the case. Yeah.
So are we moving towards a vacancy then?
At the next calendar meeting, we will have to vote to vacate a seat. And then we will officially post the vacancy and people can apply for that seat. Then we will hold a forum and interview people and vote.
So it doesn't go to the public for that? It's an internal,
No,
Oh, no, it goes to the public.
it goes to the
right? Yeah,
public,
that's what I
but we,
thought.
They have
we
to
will
apply
take
for
public
it.
comment and then the council members will vote to appoint a new member.
Okay.
For the annual meeting, do we, you know, it says here, like, discuss the, like, second July, is that, like, do we have to, I'm looking, I don't know about the town, I don't know who, you know.
We had the exact same
right?
conversation.
Yeah.
We had the exact same conversation. So here's the thing. The year of, the term of an officer is 1 year ending June 30th. The new term of the officer technically begins July 1st. The old officers hang on until the annual meeting happens and new officers are put in those seats. So for the bylaws should want that transition, should make that transition as quickly as possible. If the council votes, we can't hold this annual meeting, we can't comply with the bylaws. The council can always vote to move that annual meeting if they agree. But in my opinion, it's probably good for your overarching bylaws to want a quick and smooth transition of those officers and not to have those officers just like hang on for a default month, you know. I might not be here either.
And that's the thing, it generally gets moved.
It does generally get moved. It generally gets moved to like the
We don't have
third or
quorum
the
or-
second or the fourth Tuesday. Yeah, but
It's just, you know.
I mean, we could put something in there specifying that the annual meeting shall be held on the second Tuesday provided. Well, it's implicit because if you don't have quorum, you can't do it. So
Right, that's
it's kind of
also what we
implicit.
Talked about, like, we can change it, but at the end of the day, if there's no quorum, we can't hold it. We're still gonna have to have the same conversation of when can we have,
Yeah.
and it's going to get pushed around. It's just, but I did wanna flag it in case somebody strong feelings or alternative ideas to consider. Everything else remains the same, calendar meetings remain the same, business working meetings remain the same, special meetings remain the same, executive sessions, no changes, wait a second, maybe. check
E.
change. Right, 7 council members, somehow there was an oversight of leaving it 6 council members.
Oh, yeah.
And E, did we add that? I think we just added language that was on the phase template. Yes, so the phase template gave us the language on E. We did not have that language. We added an executive session may be converted only by motion made during a business working or calendar meeting. Such motion shall identify general areas to be considered during the executive session and must pass by a vote of 7 council members. I mean,
That came down from. that's
from
what
phase.
So if you only have like today, we couldn't do.
Can't do
Right,
an
we don't
executive
have-
session unless you have. That wasn't in there because that's always been
That's all
my
in practice.
understanding, so I'm surprised that we didn't have that in our bylaws.
Right.
Is it B? B?
Is it the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Shall be held as needed, convened.
No,
Oh, such motion shall identify generally. Oh, so it's, okay, so it was already there.
it was.
It said it was 6 council, they phase changed it to 7 council members?
It has to, a
Oh.
quorum is 7, so yeah. Okay, so we're taking that out.
So it has
We're
to be
taking out A.
unanimous,
He is fine.
right?
E is gone. All right.
Okay.
E was, I thought that was odd, that how could we not have had that? Okay.
So the following language on Article 4, it is stuff, is it already there? Okay, it's procedural, and it's more about introducing the format of the meetings in the first meeting item section or any type of label to it, just an introduction. Unless otherwise specified, the format of the meetings of the CEC 15 shall be as follows. 1, only the person presiding or chairing the meeting has the authority to yield the floor to a member of the council or a guest. And 2, each member who has the floor may speak uninterrupted for 2 minutes. All members of the council shall respect the member of the council or guest who has the floor, and all other procedural details not specifically mentioned in the CEC 15 bylaws shall be deferred to the Robert's Rules of Order. That's implementation order or well conducting meetings, and because it has become necessary at times. Under section 1, agendas.
I don't have, oh, calendar okay, section 1 agenda.
Okay, no changes in
Here.
substance.
You just added these 5 that,
You,
under B2.
Yeah, I broke it up a little, because it was under like bullet points, and I just broke it up into subsections, so we can refer to it as we speak if we need it. Section 2, same thing, no changes other than reorganization. Except for speaking limit is limited to 1 minute. We can always expand it if the parliamentarian so chooses. That it's no longer 2. Anything else?
no.
3, we are exactly the same. 3.1 is the same. 3.2 is the same. 4 is the same. Committees,
Wait, what was the 3.2, under 3.2? There was something omitted. Official actions, all official actions shall be sent through the council's designated communication channel. Both administrative assistant and the president shall have access to the, oh, I know why, because you took that piece and you moved it into the communications addendum at the end. Is that what?
where is it?
I'm looking, I'm sharing the
3.2.
document.
Page
Official action. Maybe.
F.
Okay. Yes. We moved that section to.
Oh, we have to go in about 5 minutes. Okay, so this is a long process.
What I will
Let's,
suggest is, after, that was moved, it's still in the bylaws. What I would suggest is everybody look at Article 10, which is, everything else remains pretty much the same. Article 10 is the code of conduct that we added, and the code of personal conduct. This also comes from FACE. It's language that has been proposed by FACE, and, and disciplinary actions.
yeah, I have some opinions about those disciplinary actions.
But we should
But
give everybody.
we should give
an
everybody an opportunity to talk about it and review it.
I move to adjourn.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me get, so I had somebody join us to give us, some clarity on one of the resolutions, but unfortunately, we have to table those resolutions until next, calendar meeting, which is February 27th. My dear friend Naquan from District 16 was going to give some clarity on the memo of opposition to the CLT. And Naquan, hopefully you can maybe come back February 27th and help us out with that. I'm sorry, these bylaws take a long time, and I will move to adjourn the meeting at 8:25.
Second.
Okay, second. Yeah, so by the way, Vanessa and I were here for 5 hours.
5 hours.
After you left,
You were here for 4 more hours.
yeah,
Today?
no,
Thank you.
last
I'm
Friday.
sorry.
That's okay.
It was fun.
Well,
I appreciate you.
I had to go get a big chunk of halva afterwards because I was just like, I can't take it. I need halva.
You live closest to here, right?
Yes, yes. Okay. All right, Lauren got the second in before Jonathan, competitive seconds. All right, well, I thank everybody for joining us tonight, and join us again February 27th for another exciting installment of CEC 15. Good night, everybody.
Do you have Janet Mark?